Hello students, welcome to the session on introduction to power semiconductor drives. Here I have outlined the four topics: what is a drive, what are the basic parameters, what are the basic equations, and the concept of steady state stability. So first of all, what is a drive? Drive is a system which provides controlled mechanical power for various industrial operation or applications. In many factories, we require mechanical power. So, such a drive in which mechanical power is basically supplied by electric motor is called electric drive. So, there are some non-electric prime movers as well. So, if the prime mover is an electric motor, then it is called an electric drive. So, the applications of electric drives are paper mills, textile mills, machine tools like lathes, shaping machines, etc. Then electric trains, robotics, steel rolling mills, beverages plants, fans and pumps, etc. These are the applications of electric drives. Then what are the advantages of electric drives? So, there are many advantages. First point is electric braking can be employed by using electric motors. As against to mechanical braking, we can save energy in electric braking. Then there is less maintenance and long life for electric motors. Then some electric motors can be used in explosive and radioactive environments and underwater installations as well. For example, a totally enclosed squirrel cage induction motor can be used in these applications. Then fourth point is cleaner operation the electric motors will give us. There is no pollution, there is no smoke. Then the transportation of electric energy is efficient and convenient. Electric motors are supplied by electric energy. It has its own advantages. Then the ranges of torque, speed and power available in electric motors are over a wide range, from small fractional horsepower motors to high megawatt motors. Then electric motors have instant starting, there is no warm up required, unlike in various other diesel engines, etc. The capability to operate in 4 quadrants of speed torque plane of electric motor gives its wide control over the other prime movers. So, these are some of the advantages of electric drive. If you observe the first letter of each point here, E, L, E, C, T, R, I, C. So, this makes a word electric. So, I have done it so that you remember the points well. Then parts of electric drive. There are 4 parts basically of electric drives: source, power modulator, motor and load. These are the 4 parts of the electric drive. Source can be a DC source or an AC source. AC source is what we get in what is available in the sockets of our houses. DC source is a battery or solar cell. Then similarly your motor also can be a DC motor or an AC motor. If it is an AC motor, it can be induction motor or a synchronous motor. Similarly, your third part is a power modulator. Power modulator which is placed between source and motor will perform the 4 functions. Here it modulates or controls the flow of power from source to motor. Then it reduces motor starting current. In most of the motors, we use starters to reduce starting current. For example, 3-point starter in DC motors, delta starter in induction motors, etc. So, when you are using power modulator, there is no requirement of those starters. The power modulator itself performs the function of reducing the starting current as well. Then the main function of power modulator is to convert the power from the form available to another. That means if your motor is DC and your source is AC, then your power modulator will convert your DC to AC or AC to DC, like that. You see here, if it is performing the function of AC to DC, then you know it power modulator is acting as a rectifier. DC to AC, it is acting as inverter, then a chopper as AC voltage controller, as cyclo converter. So basically power modulator is a power electronic circuit having transistors or thyristors to convert power from available form to the required form. Then the fourth important function of power modulator is it selects the mode of operation, whether you require motoring mode or braking mode. Motoring mode is where electric energy is converted into mechanical energy by the motor, and when no longer this operation is required, this power modulator will give a signal to the motor to shift its operation to braking mode, wherein the mechanical energy is converted to electrical energy, and this is either conserved or it is dissipated in resistances. When it is dissipated in resistances, it can help us to improve the braking torque. When it is when it is conserved, it is called regenerative braking, where we are saving the power instead of wasting it during braking. So modulation, starting current reducer, then power converter, then mode selector. These are the four functions offered by power modulator. Then load, the load is the application. There are many applications. For example, there are constant torque loads where your Coulomb friction dominates. Example in lift in a high rise building. Then constant power loads where speed decreases with torque, for example real drives. Then there are some loads where windage torque is present, where torque is proportional to square of speed, for example fans and aeroplanes. Then there are loads where static friction dominates due to heavy mass, for example trains and ships as well. So these are a few applications, a few loads, types of loads. Then with this information, moving ahead, we have completed this parts of electric drive. Then what is a drive we have seen. Then the basic parameters of a drive are torque and speed. These are the output parameters of a motor, mechanical energy parameters. So these are the torque, these are the parameters of drive as well. Your power, which is equal to torque into speed, can be either positive or negative. So then depending upon whether this is positive or negative, we have four modes of operation: forward motoring, forward braking, reverse motoring and reverse braking. If your torque and speed both are positive, then power, which is equal to torque into speed, is also positive. This is called forward motoring operation. If your torque is negative and speed is positive, your power will be negative. This is forward braking operation. Your reverse motoring is where torque and speed both are negative, but power, which is T into omega, is positive here. Then reverse braking is where T is positive and speed is negative, power is also negative. So an operation can be a motoring one if the power is positive. It is a braking operation if the power is negative. That is how we can confirm. Then an operation is in forward direction if speed is positive. It is in reverse. It is a reverse operation if the speed is negative. This is the classification of the four modes of operation. Then coming to the torques, there are two torques in a drive: motor torque T and load torque TL. These two torques T and TL always oppose each other. So your load torque TL, it can be, as I discussed earlier, it can be of many types. Basically it can be classified into two categories: active load torques and passive load torques. Active load torque is where the torque does not change its direction even if the direction of speed is changed. For example, torque due to gravity and compression torque are the examples. The passive load torques is where the torque always opposites the direction of rotation. If the speed is in clockwise direction, this load torque, passive load torque, is in anti-clockwise direction. If the speed is in anti-clockwise direction, passive load torque is in clockwise direction. So, examples of these torques are friction torque and windage torque. Windage torque is the torque due to the torque supplied by the opposition of wind, the flow of air. So, it is proportional to omega square. Your friction torque, how it is proportional to speed, it depends upon its type. Friction torques are of three types: the static friction torque, which is the torque present when the speed is 0 or near to 0, and Coulomb friction torque, it is a torque which does not depend upon the speed, it is always constant. For example, in a lift we have Coulomb friction torque. And viscous friction torque is where T is proportional to omega m, T is proportional to speed. These are the three types of friction torques. Now, another parameter here is J, the moment of inertia of the system, motor and load combined together. This is equivalent to mass of a linear system, J. So, T, omega, J and power, these are the four parameters of a rotational system. Then the basic equations, the equation which connects these three parameters T, TL, J, omega, four parameters are, is T equals to TL plus J d omega by dt. So, this equation tells that if you want a system to increase speed or to start, then the motor must provide a torque T which is not only equal to TL, but an additional torque J d omega by dt is also required. So, only then the system will be brought from initial speed to higher speed. So, this J d omega by dt is also a torque, because T is a torque, TL is a torque. According to the dimensions, J d omega by dt is also having the equations of the units of and dimensions of torque. So, J d omega by dt is dynamic torque equation, dynamic torque. So, J being the mass or moment of inertia and d omega by dt being the change in speed. So, when there is acceleration, increase in speed, d omega by dt is positive. When there is decrease in speed, d omega by dt is negative. In such a case, your equation will look like T plus J d omega by dt is equal to TL, because the negative J d omega by dt goes to the other side of the equation. It helps motor torque, because in such a case your load torque is more, the motor torque will be helped by this dynamic torque component J d omega by dt to supply the load torque required. Then the T equals to TL is the steady state equation. At steady state, d omega by dt is 0. So, your equation becomes T equal to TL. So, the J d omega by dt dynamic torque is associated with a kinetic energy half J omega square, half J omega square here, J omega cap 2. So, this is due to the dynamic torque. That means, when the system accelerates, then this half J omega square is the kinetic energy is stored in rotating parts of the drive. When there is deceleration, this kinetic energy stored is extracted from rotating parts, because the J d omega by dt is negative. Now, it helps T to oppose TL. So, in this manner, the dynamics of the motor and load system is influenced by the dynamic torque component J d omega by dt, which is 0 at steady state. Then a concept called steady state stability. Every system has stability, a drive also has stability. Consider a system at steady state. The motor and load characteristics are intersecting such that T equals to TL. In such a condition, speed is constant. Now, steady state stability relates to the consequences of a disturbance. Suppose the disturbance is resulting in the form of an increase in speed. The speed increases from the operating point. Then, following the disturbance, if at the new speed your low torque is more than motor torque, then the motor will experience deceleration, because low torque is more, it is deceleration, motor torque is more, it is acceleration. So, disturbance is resulting in acceleration, increase in speed. Then in the new operating speed, at the corresponding to new operating speed, you have deceleration, then the speed will decrease. That means the operating point will be restored back. If such is the situation, then the system is said to have steady state stability. Mathematically, we can write the condition for steady state stability as dTL by d omega greater than dt by d omega. For a positive change in speed, that means increase in speed, your change in load torque should be more than motor torque. So, in such a condition, your steady state stability is said to exist. The same concept can be explained on the basis of disturbance resulting in the form of decrease in speed as well. In such a case, this deceleration will occur. Corresponding to new operating point, your motor torque now should be more than load torque. So, that will result in acceleration, and then decrease in speed resulting in increase in speed will result in your steady state stability, operating point restored. So, steady state is achieved. So, here I have shown here 4 operating points A, B, C, D here. In this case, the operating point A, where your motor torque and load torque are equal at operating point A, the disturbance is resulting in decrease in speed by delta omega m. So, that will result in a situation where at the new speed you can see motor torque is more than your your load torque, motor torque is more than load torque. So, acceleration will occur. So, this acceleration will result in operating point restored again. So, that is how your operating point A is stable. Similarly, in the diagram that I was showing, operating point C is also stable, whereas operating points B and D are unstable. So, that is the end of the introductory session. Thank you.